I don't even have words. I literally have no words.
But right now, this entire contract proves, and the contracts that Jim Rutherford and Patrick Allvin have signed from day one have proved they're out of touch with what reality is with the Vancouver Canucks. We are a bottom 10 team that are acting like we're a top 5 team. What I go, like,
you can't you literally can't trade everyone. That's such a stupid concept. That
to me,
so many fans are like, "Oh, we have to trade everybody. Trade the coach.
So 3 minutes ago, you rewind. Maybe this team's not good enough. How do you fix this team then if you're going to keep re-signing these core players?
Well, there never is. You and I have discussed this so many times. The CFL is their own worst enemy.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the April 13th edition of the Hughes Sports Podcast. My name, of course, is Jake Hughes, and alongside with me, the old man, Kevin. How the hell are you doing, old man?
I am doing... If there was fantastic, what would be above fantastic?
Delusional hallucinations.
Yeah, that's what I am.
All right,
I'm just having I'm living the dream, dude. It's 2 weeks, 3 weeks now of just living the dream. I'm having a good time.
Good. That's good to hear. We have quite a busy...
My hair's lopsided.
Oh my goodness. Gosh forbid his hair's lopsided. I mean, what would possibly happen?
It's like leaning over like that. Do you see that? It's not right.
You know what? I didn't happen to notice. So we got a few things to talk about this week.
We are going to be talking about a bunch of stuff this week. It might get heated.
I don't know if it would ever get heated on this show, but
no, we don't get heated.
Do we start with the light and fluffy first?
Oh yeah, let's start with light and fluffy because I think I need light and fluffy first.
Before we get to light and fluffy, we
said light and fluffy.
But before light and fluffy, if you're watching on YouTube, as we are live there right now, please do hit that like button. Drop a comment where you're from. We will read it out. Drop some information on what's going on in your life, your predictions.
Ask some questions.
But yeah, the first thing let's talk about.
You might not answer them, but you can ask them.
First thing we are going to talk about is the BC Lions have been teasing an announcement for the last probably week and a bit, and they announced it today.
Honestly, I was kind of disappointed with the announcement today.
I was going to bring that up because I was too. I was wholeheartedly expecting something bigger. But the BC Lions,
I was expecting them to name the band. I'm waiting to name the band, and that's on a bunch of different levels. I need to know who the band is, but it was
brand new jerseys announced. I'm trying to find a picture here of them for me to bring up, but we have what are they calling them? They're calling them something new. Black
Fog.
and Fog.
Fog,
which is interesting to me.
I don't know what fog is.
It's
what color is fog? Isn't fog white?
What? Fog isn't white. Have you driven through fog?
It's like a white cloud. Clouds are white.
Clouds are not white. When you're driving through them, they are whatever this color is. And I will give it to them. They nailed it on the head.
I like it.
I
saw some reports people weren't impressed by it.
Really, I really love them. I mean, the black and orange is just intimidating. It's beautiful. Seeing that, especially with Lucky Whitehead's visor, like tinted visor there, that looks intimidating and badass.
It does.
The fog. Oh, go ahead.
And unlike their gunmetal gray ones they brought out last time, you can actually read the numbers on these ones. So the commentators and the play-by-play announcers won't be pissy with them.
I wonder how much of that the change was because they were atrocious to try to read.
I don't know anything from behind the scenes, obviously, but I wouldn't be surprised if we found out that they were. Maybe we can get the owner on the show one day in the near future and actually ask them.
That would be pretty great. Then we have the away jerseys. So they're calling it blackout and fog.
Love them.
So the fog,
I love them.
I mean, it's a throwback to when they used to play in the gray jerseys in the, I want to say, late 90s.
Yeah.
But they're just updated. They look clean. They stand out.
I like them.
To me, they stand out. It's something different.
And the only complaint I heard was they didn't like the white one, the fog, the gray, light gray.
I love it. To me, it's
and they hated the Tellus, and what's the other one there?
The Levitt Industries.
The patches.
Okay, you don't have to like the patches.
I think the patches are perfect.
Well, not just that,
they should put more on.
But that's what the CFL. If you want a true CFL jersey, you have to buy those patches extra, because that's the only way you can get those. But that's when they're on the field. That's what they do, because the CFL doesn't have the money that the NFL does. You need to have advertisers everywhere you can.
What big sport puts logos on their jerseys? Let's think here. How about one of the richest sports in the world?
It is not like let's not. It's not just patches.
It's football. It's football.
It's not just patches. Like people are losing their mind because the CFL last year, or the NHL this past year, have allowed helmet sponsorships. You do realize, the richest game, the most played game, the most watched game in the entire world, soccer, footy, whatever you want to call it, their jerseys are just advertisements. When you get a Bayern Munich jersey, it doesn't say Bayern Munich and a big number on the front. You know what it says? It says T-Mobile or whatever their name sponsor is that year, and a little patch about this big. If you're not seeing it, it's about 6 inches. I don't know how inches work. I'm Canadian. It's like,
you've been lying to the girls all this time.
That has the team emblem on it, and then it has the name on the back with the number. This is nothing. This is nothing. It looks
no.
Who cares?
If that's their biggest complaint, BC knocked it out of the freaking ballpark, in my opinion.
Now, how do you think the announcement was handled? Because I found it very lackluster. They built this up like it was a big thing. They built it up like they
wanted people checking their Twitter. They wanted people checking their Facebook and all their social medias, because it was a big announcement, according to BC Lions. It was a smart play, because they haven't announced the band for opening night yet. So everybody was like, "Oh, who's the band? Who's the band? Woo! Is there a band?"
Yeah, they've already announced that there's going to be a band. That's bigger.
Yes, they have.
That's bigger.
Bigger and more exciting.
What does that mean? Bigger and more exciting. Literally one of the biggest bands touring right now.
Is it?
One Republic is huge. They packed BC Place for a concert and football game.
They didn't pack it.
50,000 plus? Yeah, that's packed.
Sorry, I'm trying to get rid of my Facebook here. I've got 4 Facebooks open, and
it's bugging you.
One of our group chats are beeping away 1,000 miles an hour, and it's driving me nuts. I don't know if you could hear that or not.
No, I have it muted because I'm not a psychopath.
Binging. It was binging, bing, bing, bing. Anyways, so yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who they do bring in as the band for the opening day on June 17th, against the Elks, I might add. So it's not going to be a huge draw as far as who they're playing. So the draw is going to be the band.
Yeah,
it's a fact.
And the pregame party, and because they made it an event last year, and Amar Doman it feels like Amar Doman really enjoys making the games not just a go for the game, but you go for a party. Because
Yes.
look at Winnipeg.
And
Look at
what he's trying is go for the party and stay for the game.
exactly. It works.
And that's nothing wrong with that.
No, again, when the CFL was the largest it's ever been, when you were probably younger than me, 20, probably you're 25 to, I guess, 25 to my age-ish.
Yep.
What was it? It was a party.
Well, and it was good football. There was a combination of both.
It still is good football.
No, I mean like a winning team. And we had a winning team last year. But you could do whatever you want off the field. If you're not putting a winning product on the field, you're not going to get the crowds.
Look at the Elk.
Game in, game out.
Look at the Elk. They might draw a big crowd against Calgary because it's a rival game, but
even against Calgary, they couldn't draw.
Because how many home games did they win last year?
None.
Yeah.
Zero.
Zip. But I mean, I also think that BC is really smart in capitalizing, because there's a lot of negativity in the world when it comes to football in BC right now, which kind of leads into our next topic we wanted to talk about. So we talked about last week that the SFU football program had shut down. I'm not going to read the whole letter.
Yes.
I'm going to read the whole letter. Okay. I will read the whole letter then.
You're reading the whole letter,
so,
or I am, because it's very, very insightful.
Yep. So this is a letter that was put out by the Canadian Football League Players Association, the CFLPA. I believe it is by the executive director of the CFLPA, Brian Ramsey.
Yeah.
So I'll just read it. Dear President Johnson of SFU, I write to you as the executive director of the CFL Players Association, representing over 600 professional football players, to express our deep disappointment at your recent announcement canceling the SFU football program. Over the 58 years since its inception, the SFU program has produced many highly skilled players who play professional football in both the CFL and NFL and are Hall of Fame members. It is beyond devastating that the program ended so abruptly without any outreach or calls for support. You, in effect, have ended not just the program, but the careers of aspiring athletes to the professional ranks. These young players have no time now to produce film or have other schools consider them for their football programs. Worse, you allowed spring practices to occur, knowing you had already decided to cancel the program. I am told during those practices, players also suffered injuries. There's a huge, untapped groundswell of public support not to have the SFU program canceled. The CFLPA is happy to work with you to establish a coalition to find a new conference for the SFU Red Leafs, to salvage the season and get the athletes back on the field where they can develop their potential and aspire to the professional ranks. You owe your students that much. I look forward to hearing from you. Yours truly, Brian Ramsey.
Let's unpack this. First, you literally took away an opportunity for kids, for young adults, to make it in a very tough industry called football. It's an industry. You took away that opportunity from them. And not only that, you lied to them by having practices in the spring. You knew already, or you should have had that decision made already before spring, that you were not going to continue this. To me, it's a lawsuit. You made promises. You have a contract with these students. A lot of these students are literally, all they have is football. They're on a football scholarship. They can't afford to pay a university to finish their studies, and it's all been stripped away.
So I'm 100% playing devil's advocate here, because I think it creates conversation. When did the NCAA inform SFU that they did not meet?
That's the thing. Nobody knows.
I mean, the NCAA is notorious for being very quiet and secretive in the way they do business.
I don't believe that this decision was made in April.
It would not surprise me if it happened in February.
I have done the research I've had over the last week, and I really have dug into it because it's really eating at the core of my being. because SFU has been one of those universities that, even though I didn't go there, I literally could see it from my living room window. You looked out the back window, you saw SFU. It just isn't right the way they did this. When you have the likes, and I'm going to get Jake to queue up a 1-minute video that I sent him. When you have the likes of number 5, which is over my right shoulder there, not one of my favorite players, but my favorite player in the world, stepping back into the limelight after he stepped away. And Jake, if you could play that video, listen to the tone in his voice. If anybody's ever heard Louis before, listen to him now. Listen to it's all about the tone on this one. Go ahead, Jake.
So just to cue this up, this is from the First and Now podcast, the official BC Lions podcast. It's a roundtable with Louis Pasaglia, Sean Millington, Farhan Lalji, on the fight to save SFU football. That's the wrong button, Jake.
And he's trying to play it. He's not playing it.
Yes.
So I'm going to gab for a little bit.
Yeah, I need to make sure everything works properly. Here we go.
There we go.
If I could help in whatever fashion, I will. And I'm sure there's a lot of alumni, and based on the communication that I've had, there's a lot of alumni willing to step forward and do that. But again, it seems like it's not in our hands at the moment, and the way it was delivered puts us behind the 8 ball. But we've got some great alumni, and with Farhan leading the communications end of it, and Glenn Orris from a legal perspective, there's still an avenue ahead that we can hold on to, and hopefully something can happen. And hopefully the powers that be at the university will listen to us and see the benefits of the program. Now, if it's something that can't be rectified, then let us know. What is it that isn't keeping this program afloat? If it's financial, let us know if it's financial. But it seems like, most of us are in the dark on the real reason why the program is not viable anymore.
Most of us are in the dark on why the program isn't viable anymore. That's an alumni. That's their most famous, I would say, I'm biased, alumni. No communication. Nothing. This was done behind closed doors, and there's a bigger story behind closed doors, in my opinion. Lots more to be coming out on this. I think it's tragic, and I'm hoping the courts step in and fix it, because there is a lawsuit being filed on behalf of the players to stop this.
Yeah, so there is I'm pulling it up. That's not the right button, Jake. I'm just hitting all the wrong buttons. But there is an injunction that has been filed to reinstate the football program. Yes. With at least...
Which is weird, because usually an injunction is done prior to something happening so you can stop it. Injunction means stop it from happening.
Yes, and the reason they're able, the claimant application name SFU players, people I don't know, they're seeking interlocutory and permanent injunctions requiring the school to reinstate the program for at least the 2023 season. The filing alleges the school broke a contract with the players by scrapping the football program permanently. The relief being sought, according to the claim, also includes an order requiring SFU to specifically perform the contract for at least the 2023 year, damages against SFU for breach of contracting, including breach of its duty of good faith in the performance of the contract, damages against SFU for the tort of negligent misrepresentation, interest pursuant to the Court Order of Interest Act, such other relief as the court determines is just as appropriate. So they're basically going and saying they didn't give us proper notice. And so we have to basically file this claim after the program's already been closed.
Well, yeah. And it's going to be interesting. I mean, I don't, in my 58 years, I don't remember hearing anything quite like this happening. And the outrage in the Vancouver area trickling across Canada. I mean, you've got the CFL commissioner coming out against it. You've got the Calgary Stampeders making an official statement. You've got the BC Lions making an official statement. All against the university. Nobody's backing the university coming out and saying, "Oh, I'm sorry, like this is why." And I think that's the issue: is nobody from the university is communicating and saying why they did this, except to say it would have been really hard.
So again,
get over it.
I do I understand? I do.
You can't defend that. You're trying to argue with me for the sake of arguing.
No,
and you realize how silly you would look if you tried.
No, I'm trying to create conversation because I believe it's the best way to show the arguments. They just lost all of their funding for football. The NCAA, the NC2A gave them money to be in the NCAA. They also paid money to be in the NCAA. It's a scratch your back, scratch my back sort of situation.
Yeah, it's weird. But anyways.
They lost one of the key reasons they were able to recruit as well as they could. They're no longer in the NC2A, Div 2. They're not. They're out of it. They're no longer playing 4-down football, which is what a lot of these kids, the reason they chose SFU. Because 4-down football is your key to the NFL where the money's made. Now, most of them, I don't know how many of them ever made it in the, 5 years, 6 years that they were part of the NC2A, but there's that chance.
Well, there is some NFLers that came out of SFU, no doubt about it.
No, but since they've been in NC2A, because they haven't been in it that long.
No.
So
again,
they also have to.
If what the argument is for the university, if that's what the university has as a reason, come out and say it. Don't come out and say we're canceling the football program completely because it would be too complicated to keep it going. That's what they said.
Yeah, no, I
that's literally what he
said. No, I completely agree that is an absurd reason to cancel the program.
And I guess it comes down to, and I heard it in Lou's voice when he was talking. That's Louis Pisaglia. Just talk to us, like inform us what's going on, because right now you're looking really, really bad. You're taking a 65-year-old tradition and shitting on it. Literally, you're shitting on it. And that tradition is freaking proud, and it's got a lot of people riled up, including myself. So you haven't heard the last of it. I'm sure there's going to be all kinds of things that happen in the next few days and weeks, I'll say.
Yeah, no, there's definitely going to be information that's either brought to light or, I mean, through the court system, things will just be coming into the news realm. So it'll
be interesting.
It'll definitely be interesting.
Interesting times are ahead, that's for sure. I'd hate to be anybody associated with SFU on the SFU side right now.
Yeah.
Because you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't.
If you come out and you say, "Oh, we can't do it because we lost all this money and we're losing money," then the Alumni Association is going to be like, "Here's a huge check." You come out and say it's not.
Now what do you do?
Now you have to restart it, right? Like, or you come out and say, "Well, it's not monetary. There's no interest in football programs anymore." Well, you've got millions of people that are proving you wrong, right? There's no logical answer that they can come up with now that makes them look good. No.
Well, and they won't look good, even if the court comes back and says you have to reinstate it, and they do, and they work away to become part of what is it, U-West? What's the
University West?
Yeah, of that league. Even if you do that at this point, you still look bad.
You look terrible
because of the way you did it.
Yeah.
Right. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be. I'm to be honest, even though it's making me angry and I'm kind of pissy about it, I'm still kind of fascinated with the whole process and how it's going to go forward.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what's going on. Again, We just need to see the insides.
Give me a reason.
Yeah. They don't have
give me a reason. Just like Louis said, talk to us. If it's financial, let us know.
But what other reason could it be?
And he did that on purpose because he put them on notice.
Well, but
he called them out.
But not just that, but if it's not financial, what makes it not feasible?
Oh, and behind the scenes, you're hearing the Canadian universities didn't want them. And the Canadian universities are saying, excuse me.
They never applied.
Nobody put in an application.
No.
Yeah. Matter of fact, if you put in an application, we'll look favorably on it. Well, they can say that now because guess what? SFU screwed up, made themselves look bad, and tried to throw University West, Hughes Sports, under the bus.
See, and if that is the case, if there was backroom discussions and there was never a formal process made, and SFU came to the public and said, "Look, we lost our NC2A Div 2 licensing. We tried to get in with University West. They said it's not feasible this year. We're going to work with, and we're going to work with them to see if it's viable in the future. As of right now, we're suspending football operations."
Now we're talking different.
That's a completely different conversation. Which I have no reason to doubt that SFU people in SFU, the football program, had conversations with people from Hughes Sports.
They probably did,
but they look like idiots now, and it looks like they're trying to throw people under the bus, and the people being thrown under the bus are like, actually, we're driving the bus, and you're the one going under it. So it's
it's true.
It's a colossal issue.
Yes. Sorry, I'm looking to see if I could find the news, the statement from Hughes Sports, and I can't. But it was quite blunt, and it was I laughed when I read it because it was just one of those, really? Okay.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you can't. There's no defense to it.
There's none. And even yourself, who loves to try to put the other side of the argument in. You could see, if you're watching the show, folks, and not just listening, you could see Jake's face trying to go,
because
there is no defense to it.
And
you've stripped you let you let the players have spring practice. So if you let them have spring practice, that means that there was supposed to be a football season.
Yeah.
Are you telling me you made the decision after the spring practice or before?
Because either way, you look stupid at this point.
When did this decision get made, and who made it? And that's where I think the interesting parts are going to come out. Is who made those decisions? Who in SFU sat down around a board table and thought this was a good way to go about this?
I think you have to look at the president. She's the one who's got the egg on her face.
Oh gosh, yeah.
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
She's the one carrying the ball. She's going to be tackled.
Yeah.
But there's more behind the scenes than we know.
Oh, of course.
Of how that decision was made.
Of course.
And why that decision was made.
Yeah. No, 100%. 100%. It's not one person who makes a decision at a snap of a finger.
No.
It's
like saying that I'm the boss of the household and I make all the decisions.
But we all know that's not true. We all know my dog Ollie has taken control of the household.
Aww. She was so cute today. She was literally laying on top of Bella, like literally on top, with her head down on top of her head like this, and they were both staring at us while we were eating. It was so
they're
cute.
Like, guys, we want food.
Yeah, I had my plate. We were eating on the couch, of course, so I have a tray that I was eating off, so I couldn't grab my camera and try to take a picture, or else I would have spilled the food. And it was really good stew, so I didn't want to do that.
Fair. Random facts of the day.
There you go.
Transitioning. More random facts. You can head over to HughesSports.ca. You posted a very good deep dive into the 1993 expansion of the CFL into the United States.
Why it failed is more why it failed, not a deep dive into the expansion.
Well, yeah, sorry, a deep dive into why it failed.
Why it failed. Yes. And it's got a lot. I like when I'm able to do an article like that, a column or whatever we call it, blog. I called it a vlog and I got in trouble because it's not a vlog. Apparently,
A
a
vlog
vlog
is a
is a
video.
video.
Video blog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a
Guys,
blog
it's okay. He's
because
old.
apparently columns aren't a thing or an article isn't a thing
Guys,
anymore.
it's okay.
Rod, if you're listening, I got your back. It's still an article or a column.
It definitely is an
Um,
article or a column. It's just not in a newspaper. It's not
yeah.
an article or column in the newspaper.
So, anyways, this column got legs. Lots of people were talking about it. Lots of people were commenting on all the different Facebook groups that it was posted in. And then a Twitter handle by CFL News. It's an independent handle that all they do is share news on the CFL from wherever they can get it.
Yep.
And I don't know how they found it because we didn't post it on our Twitter. So
Yeah.
I'm not really sure how they went and found it, but anyways, they found it and they shared it, and then it really got legs. And there's been well over 500 reads on this. To a professional journalist, probably isn't a whole lot, but for some freaking fat old guy that doesn't write for a living, I'm pretty happy with 500 reads.
Yeah, no, it's great. And honestly, the article has thought into it. It has depth. It's not just they failed because they all went broke. Well,
that's really what.
That's what
really
happened. They all failed. But
there was all kinds of other stuff that happened as well. That go read the article. Hughes Sports .ca.
And there's a lot of good in conversation around it because there are a lot of rumors about
expansion.
Expansion, whether it be into another city or another city in Quebec or out east. There's Randy Ambrosi, the commissioner of the CFL, confirmed that there were other groups that were interested in the Alouettes that were actually more interested in starting their own franchise.
Yeah,
in a different city in Quebec. Then
could that be the rumor about that certain NFL player?
Wouldn't surprise me.
So it's not a secret anymore. Rod Peterson broke this story that he had heard through his grapevine that there was a certain Tom Brady that was interested in picking up a CFL team.
He was part of an ownership group. It wasn't just Tom
he was
Brady.
part of an ownership group with a certain NHLer.
Yeah, I was going to say with a Hall of Fame NHLer who used to play for the Vancouver Canucks, who took us to the 2011.
But we don't know who that is. But anyways, and now there's more rumors around that it's starting to get legs, as they say, and it could be Quebec. It could be
Laval.
God, it even. I don't even want to say it because it just makes. It could be the Maritimes.
Well,
could be the Schooners.
From all of the rumors that I'm hearing is that Ambrosi's really eager to not just do one at a time. That if they're going to introduce teams, do two at a time, which I think is dumb. When you have an odd number of teams right now, bring in one.
It would be dumb to bring in two right now.
Yeah,
you bring in one to balance the schedule.
Well,
right, because then you have 5 and 5.
Yeah, I was going to say balance the schedule, balance the league. You have 10 teams.
Yeah, and once we do that, Ambrosi's talking about starting way earlier, like now. And having the Grey Cup way earlier than the end of November. How cool would it be if we had a September Grey Cup? Even an early October Grey Cup.
Yeah, weather's still great.
Where it's not -50.
Yeah, and not just that, but you know who you're not competing with on Friday nights and Sunday nights?
No NFL games.
You know who you're competing against? You know who you're competing against? You're competing against an XFL who are boasting numbers of 15,000 people attending, which honestly I thought, and I say this wholeheartedly, I messaged you about it. This was a couple of weeks ago being like, well, that's pretty on par with what Calgary gets. No, like a third of what Calgary gets.
Yeah. But Calgary gets maybe 18,000 at the thing.
But they
might sell more tickets because of the season tickets, the corporate season tickets buy up a whole bunch and nobody goes.
Which is just absurd to me. If you're in the Calgary area, if you're in the Vancouver area, if you're Anywhere there's a CFL team and you're interested in even just seeing the game, you've never watched football, you're more of a hockey fan, you're an NFL fan, the CFL is boring. Pick up a ticket. You can probably pick one up at your local Sports Check or Safeway or Save On, where they have $30 tickets. You're not going to get good seats, but $30 tickets, and watch the game.
Or if you want to get a really good ticket, it's like $100.
Not just that, day of the game, go into Kijiji, go into Facebook Marketplace and search up tickets, because there will be a beautiful day in Calgary where people are like, especially the older season ticket holders who have had tickets for 50 years are like, we're not feeling up to the game. It's too hot. We're not feeling up to the game. It's too cold. Oh, it's a Riders game. Riders game. I don't want to go because they're too rowdy.
I'm telling you, people, if we could get more people to actually watch a CFL game rather than freaking, oh, the NFL's way freaking better, blah, 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 blah. Go sit down and watch a CFL game.
And I'm not saying...
And tell me it's not good freaking football, because it's amazing football. It's not just good. I'm biased. It's amazing football.
The football itself is fantastic. Watching it on TV, I can understand why you'd want to change the channel. But that's as we come up to it, that's a
personal thing.
No, that's not. That is a hard-driven fact. They have.
We should actually have a segment just on that. The lack of
personality, the lack of professionalism, the lack of calling the plays, and it drives me nuts because this is we're segueing.
Oh, your camera just went all fuzzy on you. There we go.
We're segueing a bit into hockey here. But have you listened to a Flames radio broadcast lately? Have you?
No.
Just it's an honest question.
No.
Okay.
No.
So driving up from Calgary up to Edmonton. I went up a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
It was the Calgary Flames versus Vancouver Canucks. So I was like, oh, awesome. I have 3 hours in the car. I'll listen to the game as I'm driving up.
Because I don't want to use my data and listen to the...
Well, yeah. I mean, especially that long of a drive, I don't want to use that much data. Like, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And SiriusXM, for some reason, doesn't pick up hockey games for play-by-play once the MLB season starts. I swear to you, there's a penalty called. The lead announcer, the play-by-play guy, is trying to make a point. And we all know it's been around for about 5 to 7 years now. Penalty gets called. The ref goes in front of the box, clicks a button. You shut the fuck up as an announcer. No matter who you are, I don't care if you're Wayne Gretzky. I don't care if you're Gary Bettman. I don't care if you're Francesco Aquilini. I don't care if it's your first day on the job. You shut up. You do not talk over the referee. There's 2 reasons for this. 1, we're not watching the game. We need to get information. Oh, there's a penalty to Calgary. And that shot attempt was really good, don't you think? As the ref is talking, being like, holding number 25, 2 minutes, whatever the call was. Then they don't talk about it. They don't even reiterate what the player said or what the call was, how long the player was in the box for. They just move on, continuously talking about whatever point they want to make. It's absurd to me. We might have lost the old man. I'm going to turn him off because his frozen face is kind of freaking me out a little bit. Looks like he is having some technical difficulties, but we will move right on into something that he would probably roll his eyes at, but the lottery odds. The Canucks are officially eliminated and are officially in the lottery. The lottery for the first overall pick. The Canucks themselves have done a fantastic bang-up job of removing themselves from a top 8, top 5 pick. Even a month ago, we were talking that very easily the Canucks should be even fighting for a top 4 pick. Then they changed coaches and Rick Tocchet took over and has played Quinn Hughes the most time on ice for a defenseman in the league since taking over. Elias Pettersson is in the top 5. There's been a lot of issues that have caused the Canucks to be in a position where they're now 10th last in the league and only a 3.5% chance at making the first overall pick. And it looks like the old man is back. We have you back,
I thought you left. I was like, what
Nope.
happened?
No, you froze. I was still live. Luckily we're still on the stream. We're still going.
Oh, cool. Because everything froze. So yeah, okay. It was on my side, eh?
Yep, 100% on your side.
Oops.
We were talking about the fact that the Canucks have decided, after the Rick Tocchet hiring, have decided to propel themselves to 10th worst in the league when they could have easily been 5th or 4th worst in the league.
Hey,
by playing
officially have a chance.
3.5%. Yeah, that's great.
What's the first team have?
18.5.
Okay, so we're only 15% difference.
Yeah, 15% difference.
15? That's not much.
Oh, shut your mouth.
Dude, 3.5% is better than winning the lottery. That your chances are better than winning the actual 649.
Yeah, oh, sure, great. Literally you have a better odds of getting hit by lightning twice in the same spot than winning the lottery.
Right, so we have a better chance of getting hit by lightning. We have a better chance of getting Bedard. We are still, listen to me, listen close.
I'm listening.
We are still going live the day of the draft.
Yeah.
Because when
not the day of the draft, the draft lottery.
The draft lottery. When Gary Bettman holds that piece of paper and says,
no, we don't deserve it.
The first pick goes to the Vancouver Canucks. What are you going to do?
So we have 73.3% chance at picking 10th, an 18.4% chance of picking 11th, a 3.8% chance of picking second, and a 3.5% chance picking first. Which of those odds are you taking?
I'm going to be sitting waiting and hoping that 3.5% turns into 100%. You know why? Do you know why?
Because he's from Vancouver and
it's all I've got, Jake. Jake, it's all I got. I got nothing else.
I'm still
my
gonna
second
go.
Team. Who's my second team?
The Flukes, who somehow they didn't make the playoffs, did they?
They didn't make the play. Oh shit! I shouldn't have brought that up.
So you're saying if someone
moving on.
So if you someone made a bet,
you have no record of this bet ever being made.
Yes,
and
we do.
So
yes, we do.
What record do you have of this bet being made?
The podcast from last week. It's on there. It's
recorded. You recorded that.
Yeah, I know. It's shocking.
Shit.
So I guess I'm getting a new jersey.
I said a used jersey.
No. I was the one who said I want a new jersey, and you were beyond confident that the Calgary was going to make the playoffs, just like you were last year that the Canucks were going to make the playoffs, and this year at the beginning of the season that the Canucks were going to make the playoffs, that we're going to turn it around. Your optimism is a little aggravating sometimes. But
so what you're saying?
The Canucks
is we have a chance.
We have a chance, but the Canucks
have done this to themselves. Bedard.
The Canucks have done this to themselves. We don't make a coaching change for Tocchet until the offseason. We let Bruce run it out, because with Bruce, we're a bottom 5 team. As much as I hate to say it, I think Bruce is probably one of the most likable coaches we've ever had. In my recollection, he couldn't get the team to do anything. And now, but Rick Tocchet's going to fix that. Travis Green couldn't do it. Willie Desjardins couldn't do it. Should I keep going on that list of this core group of players? But so Rick Tocchet takes over, and he has played Elias Pettersson the most. He has the most time on ice per game than any NHL player. Why? You're not making the playoffs. You knew that when you took over. Why are you running Hughes as if you have a long shot chance? As if you're a Calgary, a Nashville, a Pittsburgh?
True enough. Yep.
You're playing Elias Pettersson top 5 minutes in the NHL. That's for forwards.
It's done.
Yes. So no, it's not done. No, it's not done. Because this is a theme throughout Canucks history. If this was a 1-year thing where it's like, okay, you know what? We decided to make a change, turn things around, and make a push for the playoffs. Cool. We've seen it 2 years in a row now. And this this management team has doubled down on their decisions.
Double down?
Yeah. They traded Bo. They signed Miller to an absurd contract that there's no chance we're getting out of. I'm not putting it in chronological order.
Whoa. You can't just throw those out and say, I'm not putting them in chronological order.
Okay, do you want me to put them in chronological order? Because I can go back.
They just stop. They signed Miller based on last year, and they signed him when?
After they lowballed Bo Horvat, and he said, go fuck yourself.
There you go. They made a decision based on Miller's performance from last season. Why do we have to keep going over this with you?
Because
you literally drive me effing crazy. You have no rational thought when it comes to the Canucks.
What do you mean you have no rational thought?
You're irrational. You're an irrational fan. When it comes to the Canucks, you're irrational.
You're the one defending an organization that has made misstep after misstep since 2012. 2012. We're in 2023. 11 years of saying we can fix this team. All we need to do is bolster our fourth line with Mikael Granlund and Oliver Ekman-Larsson. He's going to be good in his 37-year season. And let's sign Chaos Draft to an unrealistic deal. And, Miller, you scored 99 points once in your career. You barely have played center. Let's give you way too much money. Trade our heart and soul of our organization.
Come on, our heart and soul of our organization. Let's talk about Bo. You want to talk about Bo?
Let's talk about Bo because
Bo.
Okay, so
this son of a bitch goes to New York and has the audacity.
Not on his own decision. Not on his decision. He was traded there
because he didn't want to play here.
No, that is not true. Where has that narrative come from? That has never been true.
He was made an offer. No. He was made an offer, and that he wasn't
$6 million. $6 million.
Jake, if I give you $6 million, are you going to play?
Yeah, that's besides the point. If I offered you $12.50 an hour to do sales, would you take it?
We're not talking about me in sales.
But it's literally the exact same thing. $12.50 an hour, 40 hours a week.
So you're never going to get over this, are you? Bo got traded. Dude, but you're obsessing. It's starting to get to the creepy point where you're obsessing with the whole.
I'm about to take you out of my ear and just keep talking.
You're becoming irritating.
The decision to trade Bo was not Bo's decision. He didn't come and say, I'm tired of playing in front of angry fans who throw jerseys on the ice because ownership's an idiot. But moving on. Bo Horvat goes to New York. What does he do in New York? He takes them to the playoffs? Correct.
Yes, he's a great player. I'm not saying he's not a great player. I'm not trying to say that. If you just take a deep breath for like 30 seconds and let me talk.
The floor is yours.
Everybody.
The floor is yours.
Bo goes to New York. He does an interview and he says, the fans in New York are way better than the ones in Vancouver.
That's not
He doesn't say the team is better. He doesn't say the management is better. He doesn't say the owners are better. He was asked what it was like to play in front of the fans
on a playoff push
compared to the fans in Vancouver.
No, he was not. The question that was phrased to him was, how does it feel? You have 2 games left, one here at UBS Arena and one on the road. How does it feel to be playing in front of these fans on a playoff push? What playoff push did Bo play? What playoff push did Bo play for with the Vancouver Canucks? You're looking it up? I'll pull it up here.
Bo Horvat interview. Here it is. Here it is. I got it right here. It's a lot better than Vancouver. I can tell you that for free. It's unbelievable. It's a lot better than Vancouver. I can tell you that for free. He doesn't say anything about
You want to?
crappy owners. He doesn't say anything else.
You're going to try to besmirch someone. We have the article. We have the.
I can read here.
Yeah, and I've got the thing. You're reading a paraphrase comments.
I'm reading what he said in that one sentence.
Listen.
How does this rank for you in playoff pushes, the excitement of this building and the fans' involvement over the last couple of games?
Yeah, I mean, it's been unbelievable. It's a lot better than Vancouver, I'll tell you that for free.
Thanks, Bo.
Thank you.
It's a lot better than Vancouver, I can tell you that for free.
What?
He doesn't need to say that. He's an asshole.
Okay, first
asshole.
Off, the next day he walked back the statements because he's pansy-footed. I hate it. Stand up for yourself. Be a character in the goddamn NHL.
We're wrestling fans. He turned heel.
100%. That's why I put it in the thing. He's a heel.
He turned heel.
I love it. I love every second of it.
I love that. Bo Horvat, he's a heel in Vancouver. He's a dick.
He is. Because you know how many comments I got?
He didn't do anything in Vancouver. He didn't take us to his freaking... How many playoff games did he get us to? How many games?
How many playoff games? Let's look at the stats. He put his goddamn backpack on, put PD, JT Miller, the entire fucking organization, including that damn draft, on a backpack and took us into the second round of the bubble playoffs.
Is that it? Just the one time? In his 10-year career?
Show me a team around.
And I'm asking an honest question. Is that the only time the Canucks made the playoffs when he was the captain of our team?
Yes.
As you said, heart and soul.
Yes. I mean, he's also the one who stepped forward when we were supposed to play and we decided not to. He's the one who reached out to Minnesota Wild during the playoff bubble. I know you might not remember this. Some fans might not. But during the bubble, there was I believe it was
Black Lives Matters.
Black Lives Matter. I think there was a shooting down on the stage. Shocking, yeah. I know. And he reached out to the Minnesota Wild. And said,
"Yes,
I don't feel comfortable playing tonight. What do you guys think?"
Yes, he did. Because I'm not saying he's a bad guy. I'm saying he's a dick for making a comment like that. He doesn't make that comment. He was pandering to the crowd, going for the cheap hug.
Oh, God forbid! God forbid! God forbid!
Chasing the hug.
Good. Chase the hug. You know why? The fans in Vancouver now apparently think he was never my captain. I hated him. He was terrible. Literal comments I got because I posted an article on who should be the next Canucks captain. And comments literally flooded my inbox saying, well, at least it's not Bo Horvat. He was a terrible captain. What did he ever do for the organization? What did Bo Horvat ever
once to the playoffs in his 10-year career with the Canucks?
Show me. Can you pull up any team? Pull up one team in that entire run, and I will point out flaws that management made.
When we're talking the heart and soul of the Canucks.
Yeah, who are you talking about on this team?
I think of one player and one player only.
Trevor Linden.
Yes, that is the heart and soul. I let you rant. Take a deep breath. You have water? You got some water there? Sip it.
Nope. Floor is yours.
Trevor Linden was the heart and soul of Vancouver.
Yep.
He took them to many, many playoffs. He put those players on his backpack, and he carried them. He was the heart and soul. He was
to one Stanley Cup final.
No, I'm talking the playoffs. I'm not even asking for the Stanley Cups. How many Stanley Cups did we win? Because we haven't won any.
Yeah.
How many times did they make the playoffs when Bo Horvat was in charge of this team?
Let's compare the teams around Trevor Linden. You can't say it's the captain's fault for not making the playoffs when he's got
just did. You told me that he put everybody on his back and he.
Did you remember the bubble playoffs?
He put them into the playoffs single-handedly. You're the one who said it. You said it. I'm just using your words against you.
No, you're not. You're literally just like the reading of the thing, the article. You're taking bits and pieces to make your point.
No, I'm not taking bits and pieces. He said it's better than Vancouver. I can tell you that for free. Fuck you. Yeah. Screw you, Bo. Oh, shut your mouth, Bo.
So.
Oh, I wish I had that cued because I would have used it. I would have robbed it from him and used it.
So
You love
Bo
me still?
Bo Horvat is now hated in
I don't
Vancouver.
think he does, folks.
So Bo Horvat is now hated in Vancouver after the terrible seasons, the miserable teams that he had to go out in front of the media for every single time, and he never once rolled his eyes. He never once gave a snarky comeback. And there were times where he should have. There were times where I literally looked at it and was like, that's a fucking stupid ass question.
That's a stupid ass question.
And 2 years ago, when Petey got in a lot of shit because he glared at people when they asked stupid questions.
Who was it that said that's a stupid question? There was somebody. Was
it Tortorella?
I'm not sure.
Coach, I think so.
I'm not really sure.
Okay, we're moving on because someone stepped in the kitchen and can't handle the fucking flames.
Guys, you have to understand how easy this is. It's like I have an easy button over here that if I just pull my camera down, I could just push the easy button.
So, as we are talking right now.
Oh, did I tell you I have a new team? I should have got the hat.
Well, you ban jumping onto another team? So as we're talking, he's looking for another new hat to put on because
it's not a proper one, but you'll get the idea.
Manitoba. Oh, you're cheering for Winnipeg. Okay.
Winnipeg now.
Do you like disappointment and frustration? Because it feels like you just like. Apparently, you just like disappointment.
I think it's the underdog thing I like. I think it's the underdog.
Sure. So as we're discussing things, we are heading into the last couple days of the NHL season and the playoff pictures.
2 days. We got today's games and tomorrow's games.
And with that, the regular season will be over. 82 games already done.
Which reminds me, don't forget, folks, go to Hughes.ca.
HughesSports.ca.
HughesSports.ca and sign up for our
Hughes Sports Bracket 2023.
Because there's going to be a prize. You're going to get one of these. Yeah. Well, not exactly, but
you're going to get a Hughes Sports Podcast hoodie, which will be exclusive because we don't have any made yet. You'll also receive.
Hold it. Are we giving away something we don't have?
Correct. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Don't worry. We're working on it. We got time. We got some time.
We got a couple months. We're good.
We're good. It's a good thing the playoffs are a long time, but
now it's not a playoff pool as you pick your players. It's a playoff.
No, it is a bracket
where you just pick your teams.
Yes. So before the second game is played of the first game, you have to have your picks in.
Hold it. Say that again.
The second game of the first series played.
Yeah, you said the second game of the first game played, and I'm like,
well, the first series played.
Yes.
Your picks have to be in. If your picks are not in, you will have an empty bracket and you lose, and I will point and laugh, and I'll bring your name up on stream because I don't care. I'll bring your name up on screen and be like, look at these idiots. Because there's always a couple.
That could have had a $50 hoodie. $50? $100? I don't know how much it cost. A couple $100?
Probably $50. I think it's $50 for
say it's hundreds of dollars.
$1,000. $100,000 for one hoodie. But you also get the invaluable time to work with me and the old man to jump on and to if we don't like you and your team is trash, 5 minutes, but if we like you and you're a Vancouver fan, 15 minutes or so on an episode.
I think the way it reads is if you're good, we'll keep you on for a while. If you suck, like Jake, we'll just cut you off.
See, that's a great thing because this is mostly my show.
Well, I'm not allowed to cut you off. I tried and it booted me off.
I just yell over. We know
folks, he loves me.
Someone has to. Who is your pick for the West? I know you're cheering for Winnipeg, but who is your pick to come out of the West?
I kept going back. I knew you were going to ask me this today for some reason, and I keep going back and forth. I'm thinking Edmonton.
Interesting. I could see Edmonton. I can also see Colorado. I think it's those two.
That's funny because I didn't want to say which ones I was picking between Those are the two I went back and forth on. I'm going to stick with Ed.
The only downside with Colorado right now is they just announced, just before we actually went on the air today, that their captain, Gabriel Landeskog, who hasn't played at all this season because of a knee injury, is still going to be out. There was hope that he was going to be able to come back and play for the playoffs because there's no cap in the playoffs. That needs to be fixed. That's another conversation. Now, out of the East, we don't have teams in the East that we cheer for. So who is your pick out of the East?
I can't say it.
Yeah,
I can't pick them. I can't pick them. I'm going to pick Florida just because.
Wow.
The Panthers, wild card.
By
dark horse.
To upset in the first round.
Yeah.
Probably the greatest statistical team.
Well, they're not probably. They are statistically the best team to ever play.
Yeah. Well,
the game.
Not in all stats. But yeah, wins, losses, and points, yes.
Stats that matter. Wins. They've won more games than any team has ever won.
They have only allowed 177 goals.
That's insane.
The next closest here, I want to see if I make sure I get this right. The next closest is Carolina at 213.
Jesus.
So 40 points different, 40 goal difference in an 82 game. That's half a season of half a goal allowed a game. It's insane.
And how many games have they only lost? 12?
They've lost 12 in regulation and 5 in overtime. So 12, 17 losses.
12 teams. 12. Can you imagine if the Canucks could do something like that again?
Yeah, let's go back to 2011. It was a great time. I mean, it's only been 12 years.
But there is that President Trophy's curse. I think I heard only 6 teams in the history of the NHL have finished first in the league
and won
it. That's 6 teams in over 100 years.
But there's never been a team as good as Boston.
No, there isn't. I mean, I hate them. I despise Boston. I just freaking but there's no team together. They've got it together this year. They are the team to beat. I'm not picking them though.
And this is their last year.
I'm picking the underdog. I'm going with the Florida Panthers.
Okay, well, as we're speaking, the puck is about to drop in the Vancouver Canucks Arizona Coyotes. The final
we better
game
go and watch that.
23 season. I will be watching.
I will
because it is the last game that one John Garrett will be announcing on a regional broadcast for the Vancouver.
Yes, see, they gave him did you see that? They gave him a huge standing ovation after the game in Canuckland. Forget who I was talking to. And they're like, I don't know why people are making such a big deal about this. He only called for like 20 years. And I'm like, he called the same team for 20 years. He was a fixture. Jake doesn't remember much before him. Like he was 10.
Yeah, literally, I was 10 when Larscheid and Garrett started.
Yeah,
and then it was Shorthouse and Garrett, and that's all I've known. That's all I've known for regional broadcast. I remember Houston. But that's also tainted because the Jim Houston and Craig Simpson for many years, and apparently Jim Houston and Don Taylor did NHL games. EA Sports. Because on my other channel, in my other hat on YouTube here, I was playing NHL 2003, and I was like, why is the play-by-play guy or the color guy voice so familiar yet so weird to be in this context? And it wasn't until the end of the game where it was like, thank you so much for tuning in, like doing the sign-offs, and I'm Jim Houston for Don Taylor. This has been an EA Sports presentation. I was like, oh my God, it's Don Taylor. Why did I not connect those dots?
And why is Don Taylor famous to you?
Well, I mean, he's been around forever in the Vancouver sports media. He was on Team 1040 for years.
Years.
Yeah, what years? Was that before 1993?
Was it?
I don't remember.
I don't know what year. It was probably in the 80s.
No, I think it was the late 90s.
I'm too old then.
But he was Donnie, like Don Taylor, Bob Marjanovic on TSN 10, like on Team 1040 before it was TSN.
Yes,
they were the guys who started it, right? So, but yeah, it's going to be weird next year not having Garrett call most of our games.
Yeah, it's gonna the camaraderie those two have, the chemistry those two have is just phenomenal.
Well, they're friends. Like, they talk about it. They hang out. They don't have to go for dinners after games together, but they do because they're friends.
Yeah.
And the biggest concern for me is that they're going to try to find someone who doesn't click with Shorthouse, or they're going to choose someone who doesn't click with Shorthouse. Why doesn't Shorthouse get national games? Tune into Hockey Night in Canada, who you're listening to. Not John Shorthouse.
True.
You might get Cheech and someone else, but you're not getting Shorthouse called. Why? Who knows? Backroom politics is my guess. But that's a start for another day.
No, sorry, the name Cheech, real name.
John Garrett.
Garrett isn't retiring. He will still call games.
He will still call national broadcasts on occasion.
Yeah, or he does the color. No, I say call.
Yeah, that's to me. Yeah, color commentating is still calling the game, but it's not good. He's not going to be on the regional broadcast. It's just the national one.
So the question is, do they put him on a Canuck game?
I think he'd be stupid not to. I think what you do, like, if I'm Sportsnet,
or because he's retired, do you just say no and he gets all the other teams?
No, what I would do is, if I'm Sportsnet, which I'm not because this is a smart idea, is you go a month. You distance Garrett for a month.
Yeah.
And then the first game, like make it a big Saturday night hockey against the Flames or against Toronto.
Yeah.
And the reunited Shorthouse and Garrett calling the game.
Oh, wouldn't that be cool?
Because you know what you just did? You got every single person in Vancouver to tune into that game.
Yeah. Even if they're not a hockey fan, they're going to tune in.
Well, I don't know about that. Because Garrett's pretty
bandwagon jumpers. They would.
That's fair. Okay, well, we need to go because we are overtime. Yeah, you know it happens. It's our show. We can do whatever the fuck we want. It's kind of nice.
There we go.
But
till next week, buddy. April 20th.
Thank you so much for everyone tuning in, whether you're listening live on YouTube. If you're not listening on YouTube, I don't know what you're doing. You're missing out on half the fun and half the chaos because we're vocal talkers. I stood up partway through the broadcast and I was like, I don't know why I'm standing.
I thought he was going to walk out and I was just going to take his camera off and just be on me and I get to have the rest of the show by myself and actually make it make sense.
It hasn't happened yet. But please do hit that like button wherever you are listening. Hit the subscribe button.
You love us, so click it.
And not just that, but we want to beat the YouTube algorithm. The YouTube algorithm actually is a pain in the butt to fight. And I'm learning that because I'm doing a lot of deep diving into this. And the thing that makes the YouTube videos, I'm explaining it for the old man here. The thing that makes the YouTube videos populate in other people's feeds.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's the algorithm. Yeah. Okay. YouTube doesn't like things, so we need to make YouTube like us. So by getting likes, people hitting that subscribe button, dropping a comment on anything that's related to.
And you know what's cool, guys? As we go forward here with these, obviously we're going to cover the playoffs, the NHL playoffs, for whatever teams. We'll pick a team that we'll really concentrate on. Probably
we need to talk. We'll talk about that off air. We'll talk about it.
It'll be a Canadian team. But we're going to start talking more and more CFL football. And we're going to bring on some guests. Some you might recognize from years gone by. But
I'm excited for it. That's for sure.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Anyway, till then, have a great week. Take care. Be nice to each other like we are.
Yeah, totally nice all the time. We will see you guys here next Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. You can figure out where that time zone is in your time zone. Have yourself a wonderful week.